Welcome. Today I have a simple but cute Valentine's Day project for you. I'm Viv with Art with Viv, and this is the place to come to reconnect or connect with your creativity. Now, the first thing I did was I took a piece of scrap paper and I cut out different sized hearts. So I had big ones, little ones, medium ones, extra small ones. You cut out whatever you like, what sizes that you would like, and then I'm just tracing them onto my watercolor pad here. And I'm erasing, some of the lines that I don't want there, and I'm just layering them until I get a pleasing composition or a composition that makes me happy. And you would do the same thing. Then once you get them all traced, you just start painting. Now I will tell you this, don't paint two hearts next to each other if they're still wet. Let the hearts dry. I made that mistake. You will see later in the video I made the mistake of putting a wet heart down and then painting right next to it, and of course you know what happens. It bled all over the place. So that is my one thing that I'm just going to caution you about. And you can paint your hearts any color that you would like, obviously. The colors I used were different pinks and purples and reds, so that's what I did. And I'm putting down the first layer. This is a simple painting. There's not much to it. It's actually quite meditative. You can just paint your hearts and just listen to some music, and it is just so meditative. Now I've dipped into my purple there, got some purple heart going. I want a little brighter heart, so I'm adding some yellow to my mix. And just painting these hearts just however I want them. And that's what you would do. So I am going to let you watch. Keep in mind, don't paint two hearts that are wet next to each other. You will see me do that, so you don't do that. Learn from my mistake, and I will be back shortly. once you start getting your hearts in there, you can go back over them with a second layer. Add a little bit of dimension by making them darker in some spots, lighter in other spots. Just again, make sure that you don't paint two wet ones next to each other so they don't bleed together and make a mess. But you can come back now in this step and just darken some of your hearts up and brighten them up. Maybe lift a little bit of the paint out to leave a little lighter area. This one here, I decided it was so pale, I wanted to really brighten it up, so I'm just adding a little bit more, another layer of a brighter color. And I am going to let you watch, and I will return shortly. Now once you get your hearts the way that you would like them, let them dry. Let them dry completely. And once they are dry, then you can go ahead and put in your background. And I'm just using a nice blue-green for this background. And my small brush to start with so I can get in between these little spaces of the heart. Now I am going to do 2 layers of this background. So I'm starting on my first layer. I'm not going to make you watch me because that's so boring. All we're doing is painting the background, just painting around these hearts. So once you get this done, then you will come back and do a second layer. So this one, it's already done. The first layer is already done and dry, so I'm just adding a second layer because I want it to be darker. It came out a little bit too light for my taste, so I'm doing another layer to really darken it up. So that's all we're doing here, and just, you know, be really careful. Try not to paint over your hearts. Keep it in the background. Keep the edges wet so it's not streaky, but even if it is streaky, we're going to do a design on the background, so it's not going to make that much of a difference. This isn't one of those where you just have to be so perfect with the washes, so don't worry. So here we go, we're getting this second layer in. It's starting to look, I really like that green with these oranges and pinks. So now once you get that background, let it dry completely. And then you can take a gel pen, white gouache, Dr. P.H. Martin's bleed proof white, whatever you have, and go around each heart so that you can define it with a little white line. And just trace around each heart, and you can come back once that's dry and do a thicker line on top of it so that it shows up better. I'll get a little closer so you can see what I'm doing. So I'm just outlining these hearts. Now once you get that background dry, got all of your other ones, your little hearts outlined, just add some dots to the background to give it a little design. There you go. You have the cutest, sweetest little Valentine card ever. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit subscribe.